I'm George Orange. I am currently serving in the United States Navy, and I am a Yeoman Second Class Petty Officer. My time prior to boot camp was mostly retail based. Um, that, as well as my writing and trying to get into acting for a long period of time. So going into boot camp, going into the military was definitely something of an alternate route for me. I initially decided to go into the service, not so much for myself, but it was more or less for the uh, purpose of finding a foundation for a future family. At the time, I was in a pretty serious relationship, so me working the jobs that I was working wasn't necessarily giving promise to a future foundation. So I wrestled with the decision of enlisting for a number of months, and eventually decided to join. And it was a huge sacrifice for me. Um, Needless to say, the relationship did not follow through, but to this day, I do not regret joining. I'm glad I joined. I've learned so much. In fact, during boot camp was really a pivotal moment for me. Being a shelter kid, growing up as a shelter kid, I was exposed to a lot of different cultures and a lot of different personalities, and there was no real filter. You had to really adjust to the new environment, and you had to have a lot of tough skin. So, in in position to get myself further to where I wanted to be, which was Los Angeles, in the bigger picture, in Hollywood. I think that boot camp really was the starting point for me to develop more sensitivity to different cultures, and also to help strengthen my own personality and my own character to interact with different people, and also to help me develop leadership skills. And obviously, during my time later on in active uh, fleet duty, is when I really started to pick up on those leadership abilities that I didn't even know that I possessed. So, active duty for me was a very strange experience coming out of retail. Um, it was one of those things where I didn't think that I was ready for. I believe my first 2 years were probably the hardest. Just getting used to the mental strain, the physical strain. I had many mentors that helped me to understand what leadership was, and to take me by the hand and show me how things were supposed to be. And they also took the time to understand who I was as a person, and found many opportunities for me um, for acting and recitals, all those things that really was building my artistic side, but also helping me to um, get better at my job as well. So, in Washington State, of all places, on Whidbey Island, I was on stage, I was performing so much, and had hours, hundreds of hours of volunteer um, credit just for doing what I always wanted to do. And on the same note, was doing what I was supposed to do at work, because I was supposed to be volunteering. So it was one of those things that I didn't expect, and it was a hard time too. Like I said, the first couple of years were very hard. This is because I was separated cross country from the individual that I was in a relationship with, and it was one of those experiences that I wouldn't wish on anyone. It's a very heartbreaking time when you have to separate yourself, and there are many service members who do it on a regular basis, and I salute them all the time. It's it's not an easy thing to embark upon a career or destiny that separates you from the person that you care about. And I felt that. I understood that. And though things took a different turn and I went through so much anguish and pain and bitterness, I look back on my decision to join, and I can't say that I regret it at all. I love where I have come and what I've become and what I am becoming. I am very proud of myself. I love the fact that I have come through so much and am not only here to express it and to help others in those same predicaments, but to go forth in a future where I am at least 100 times stronger than I was when I first joined. And I just have so much hope, bright hope for my future. And I owe a huge chunk of that to being in the military. Where do I see myself after active duty? You know, the wise guys of the military, of any branch, will tell you that eventually, at some point, everyone gets out of the military. It's not a lifetime job. At some point, you will get out and you will be back into the civilian world. So there's always um, there's always going to be that thought in the back of your mind where you're thinking, where will I be? What will I be doing once I get out of the service? With me, I've always had that my mindset going, that idea in my head of where I wanted to be. However, it wasn't until probably recently where I actually had a plan in place to get me to that certain level. And I think that was one of the biggest things that hindered me before I got into the military, was not having a really good solid plan to really strategize how to get to that point. So with me, I am an aspiring screenwriter and actor, songwriter. I do songs, all that stuff. I have a multitude of talents. And just being a talented individual isn't enough. You have to have some type of what they call people savvy, or what I just call people savvy. And I developed a lot of that within the service. And I think that is a big part of marketing yourself to different companies, to different people. So if you cannot market yourself, you're pretty much going to be in the same circle. You know, you have to be able to show people what you're made of and what you have, to not only talk the talk but walk the walk. And I think that being in the service has boosted my confidence and has corrected a lot of my character, that I have the utmost pride within myself that I feel that I can do anything that I have my mind set on doing. And all I can say is I'm looking forward to being on that big screen in Hollywood and seeing my creations on that big screen as well. And to all the veterans and active duty reservists, all you guys out there, all I can really say on behalf of myself is thank you. And for the mentors that have really helped me to come along, thank you. And God bless America.